Locked in a battle over different terrain. This is not Game of Thrones. This is this episode of Drunk Mormon Podcast.
Oh, this is the podcast where we drink with the Mormons, strange and peculiar people they may be. Come hear the stories we were taught in our childhood. Come drink and join our eternal family. Come drink and join our eternal family.
Welcome to the Drunk Mormon Podcast.
Welcome back, friends.
This is the podcast where we get drunk and talk about people who never get drunk.
The Mormon.
I'm David John Banks, and I was raised Mormon.
I'm Lauren Sackwich, and I have never been Mormon a day in my life.
And we're your hosts. Every week on this podcast, we teach Lauren a little bit more about Mormonism, whether that's stories from the Book of Mormon, stories from Mormon church history, or peculiar things that Mormons believe. But this week, we're finally going back to the Book of Mormon.
Oh, yes.
To learn about Ammon and Limhi.
Who?
Yeah, so...
Ammon and Limhi?
Yeah, we haven't met them yet. This will be picking up from where we left off last
These
time.
names are just getting, more and more ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we have just, a little bit of business.
A teeny tad.
Excited to introduce our first special guest of the month.
Ooh!
Here we are in November.
Very coveted spot.
Yeah, and that guest is actually... a friend of mine from long, long ago. In fact, I believe we go now 11 years back.
Whoa.
And that is my dear friend, Josh Kohler.
Hello.
Hi.
But not only do we bring Josh, we brought Josh's boyfriend, Grant.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Grant.
Who's here. Thanks for being here.
I'm so excited.
So, every time we have someone new on the podcast, we ask them two very important questions. Just get some context, get to know people, icebreakers. Those questions are, 1, what is your relationship to Mormonism? And 2,
what is your relationship to alcohol?
Josh, I'm going to have you go first.
All right. Well, to answer your first question, I was born and raised in the LDS Church, the Mormon Church. Parents married in the temple. All 5 siblings no longer in the church, but parents are still very active. But
As in you're one of 5 kids or you're one of 6 kids?
I'm one of 5 kids.
Okay, me too. Which one are you?
Number 4.
Oh, I'm number 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that. You have 4 siblings?
Uh-huh.
Wait.
What?
I thought you only had
Where
2.
are they?
We'll talk about it off the air.
Okay.
And then to answer your second question, after I left BYU, after my first year, which we will talk about that
Another time. Put a pin in it.
I actually, funny story, was the first time I went to a college party. It was an M party, as in you have to dress as something that starts with the letter M. And guess what I went as?
A Mormon?
Mormon.
Yes, correct.
And this wasn't at BYU, though?
No, this was at my school that I graduated from in Oregon.
Cool. And how did that go over?
Good. We got Subway later that night. It was my first time getting drunk food.
I just think it's very funny to leave BYU and go to a non-Mormon school, but then just come hard out of the gate as a Mormon.
And that was the first time you got drunk at a party, was dressed as a Mormon?
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I'm going to just slowly turn my head in the direction of Grant. Do you remember the questions?
I do, yeah.
Okay, go for it.
How could I forget? So I am not a Mormon.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Did you guys... Now we're getting into this story, but did you guys meet at BYU?
No.
Oh, okay.
We met in Seattle.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Keep going.
So my relationship with Mormonism begins with Josh.
Oh.
Yeah. But no, I was raised an atheist in San Francisco. So
Wow.
This is all very new to me and completely foreign. And my relationship with alcohol, we go way back.
Yes.
Yeah.
How old were you when you
friends.
started?
Lightly in high school.
Okay.
But more later.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's appropriately vague. We can roll with that.
Sure.
Speaking of drinking,
We should get down to
I'm
the drink.
ready to drink. And I brought the drink this week.
Oh.
If anyone remembers from episode 7, we had Kari come on to sub when you had to, I think you were out of town. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I
I was at
and-
Coachella.
Oh, that's right.
And everybody was afraid I was like lost in Coachella.
So Kari and I both love mixing drinks, and Kari actually has a lot more knowledge and training than I do. So we decided every once in a while we should get together and like try out a new drink and get some liqueurs and things.
Oh, how
and so
fun.
this is a drink that she taught me called a Coral Reef. And it's gin based. It's really tasty, especially if we bring back our old favorite, Madame Patarini gin.
Yes.
They are still not yet our sponsor for the show,
We keep asking.
but we would love it if
Come on,
they
Queen.
would.
We just keep tweeting at
Are
them.
you guys in talks with them? Or?
No, but I literally find excuses to go back to Utah to get more bottles of this gin. That's how much I like
You should
it.
tag them on Twitter.
So, here's what goes into a Coral Reef.
Okay.
It has basically 3 ingredients, which is gin, and then you also add Saint Germain, which is an elderflower liqueur,
Oh.
and Aperol. So first, you want to put ice in your glass, and then you add your liquors, one at a time. First is 2 ounces of gin, then 1 ounce of Saint Germain, and then 3/4 ounce of Aperol. But if you accidentally do 1 ounce like I just did, it's still fine.
It's alright. It's a happy tree.
And then you just top it off with club soda.
These look amazing.
Let's give them a taste.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. So many things are happening in this.
Good things?
Good things. I didn't. It's fruity. I didn't expect it to be fruity.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
You could drink a lot of these. This is a dangerous drink.
It is, yeah. This is like alcoholic orange soda. Like,
Yeah.
Super tasty.
Great.
So I can't think of anything else to do except let's get drunk.
Yay!
Also, Lauren, it's probably worth mentioning, I met Josh because we were roommates our first semester at BYU.
Our first year.
The first full year.
Yeah.
He's the first person I ever met at BYU.
Do you remember that one night when we locked ourselves in the kitchen and deep cleaned it because it was so messy and disgusting?
That's absolutely not where I thought this story was gonna go. You remember that one night, and I was like, salacious. Tell me.
Oh my god, also Lauren, did I tell you that I checked our iTunes and we have way more reviews?
No way! We should read a review.
Yeah, here, let me find one for you.
Okay. Fair and balanced. 5-star.
Ooh.
This is by our friend Aaron V277. DJB and Lauren have an amazing chemistry. Aww. This podcast is so funny and informational. You can tell that DJB has really taken his time to do his research and to present all the facts, both common and lesser known, on the topics they cover. I learn something new every episode. Oh, and their drink recipes are the bomb. Aw, thanks, Aaron.
That's wonderful. I want to read one.
Do it in an accent.
No, only if it's written in an accent. So this one is so entertaining and funny. 5-star. By Amanda from LJ. What's LJ? Little John?
From Amanda from Little John?
Amanda from Long John?
Long John.
Las Vegas?
Las Vegas. Las Vegas.
Anyway, she says, I love this podcast. If you like the title, you'll love it too. This podcast is my favorite fruit. I think she meant to say that I'm her favorite fruit.
I think she did.
What about La Jolla? Texas.
Oh. Well, there's also La
No.
Jolla, California.
No, Texas.
Maybe it is La Jolla.
Because it's spelled with J.
Oh, I was literally like, what are we talking about?
Sorry. Yeah.
LJ.
Yeah.
It could be La Jolla. I'm ready to learn.
So if we were an episode of network television, we would have at the beginning of the episode, previously on. Mm-hmm. So, what have we already talked about recently in Book of Mormon stories? We had
The guy in the chains.
We had Abinadi and King Noah.
Abinadi and Noah.
And Noah's father was Zeniff. So Zeniff died. King Noah became the king. Zeniff was cool, but Noah was a dick.
Yeah.
And
Abinadi is
and he had all these wicked priests, and Noah died, right?
Yeah.
He got burned up.
Yeah.
Also, if you remember even further back than that, there's the guy in the tower.
King Benji!
King Benji.
He's given speeches.
And then he named one of his sons to be the next king.
Not the first one.
No.
The next one.
It was...
Helman.
No.
Heman.
No.
Hyman.
No. Mosiah.
I was close.
So, if we remember, King Benjamin gave the speech, named his son Mosiah as the next Nephite king. Meanwhile, in another land, there's King Zeniff. He dies, names King Noah as the next king.
Oh, I see. We got like a Game of Thrones thing.
We got a Game of
Multiple
Thrones
story
things,
arcs.
Different story arcs at the same
It's
time.
all coming together.
So, King Noah's people he was freaking out because his people were trying to kill him and also the Lamanites were coming, right?
Yeah.
So King Noah gets burned up. Mm-hmm. The Lamanites, though, they still showed up and they invaded and they captured all of the Nephites.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the Nephites were like, hey, so we burned King Noah, though.
Yeah.
And then the Lamanite king was like, okay, cool. All right. So then you guys can all stay. But you're gonna own the city and you're gonna be our slaves.
Oh, I don't think I'd stay.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they had a choice. I think the other it was like cake or death, but it was more like not cake. So King Noah had a son too.
Yeah.
And King Noah's son's name was Limhi.
Okay.
And Limhi was like a pretty chill dude, and all the people were like, hey, you're the next in line, so you can be our king now.
Uh-huh.
And King Limhi goes to the Lamanite king, and he's like,
Hey, I'm the king.
Hey, so I'm spokesperson, volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
What if we pay you guys 50% in taxes? And the Lamanite king's like, great.
What? That's a terrible deal.
Well, the deal was...
The Lamanite king is like, you're slaves, and then the slaves were like, what if we just give you 50% though?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, this will work.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a great idea too.
So but I think the deal was, we'll do this for you, and in return, we all live, and you're not going to attack us, and you're going to let us have our city. And he's like, cool, you can keep your city. We're going to put guards around it, so you can't leave, because we need your labor.
Okay.
You're going to just, we're good. We're good. Okay? Meanwhile, off in the forest, the wicked priests of King Noah are still out there hiding.
Ooh.
They were too afraid to return to the city because they knew that people would be upset at them.
And now they're on the outside.
And now they're
safe.
like hanging out, hiding in the woods, living off the land.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Lamanites have a lot of daughters. And you know what the daughters like to do on the weekend?
Fuck.
They like to run out in the woods and have parties just by themselves. Just a girls' night, off in the woods, dancing, drinking.
Sacrificing virgins.
Yeah, lesbian stuff probably. Trying things out. Experimenting.
Just living their best life.
Living their best life. And these wicked priests are in the woods and they see them. And they're like, ooh, look at that. So eventually they wait until there's less of them, because there's a lot of Lamanite daughters, and then one night there's not as many, there's like 24, and the wicked priests run in and they carry them away.
No!
They kidnap them. And so the Lamanites are like real upset about this, and they don't know it's the wicked priests. They think it's all the Nephite slave people who stole all the daughters.
I mean, to be fair, that is like that's an educated guess.
And so the Lamanites are like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go fuck them up.
Great.
So they start preparing for battle. Now, remember Limhi? He's up in a tower, as Nephite kings are wont to do.
Okay.
And he's looking out, and he sees the Lamanites preparing for battle, and he doesn't know why, but he's like, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We got to do something.
Yeah.
Okay? So what he does is he tells all his people, and they all like go out of the city and they hide in the fields and in the forests and wait.
And isn't that where the
sort of like
priests are?
but like Minutemen. The priests are like staying clear because they don't want anyone to know where they are.
Okay.
Who knows where they're at?
So there are lots of forests, lots of fields.
Lots of forest. It's a lot of forest.
Got it.
We're on the Yucatan Peninsula. There's trees everywhere.
Ah,
This is pre-civil.
very lush.
Pre-industrialization.
Yeah.
So then Lamanites come marching in, boom, 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 and then when they reach the place where the Nephites are hiding, the Nephites start jumping out and attacking them and killing them. And even though there's only like half as many Nephites as Lamanites, they're able to like
warfare.
drive them back. And it's
That's
a
how
big
we ran
battle.
the revolution.
Yeah, that's how we won a Revolutionary War. So, ooh, this is a lot of twists and turns.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I still, at this point, I'm not sure who's supposed to be the good guy in this story. A lot of shit is happening. I'm not sure who I'm rooting for.
I think Limhi's a good guy,
And he's what? A Nephite
He's
or
a
Lamanite?
Nephite.
Okay.
and the Lamanites
And he's
are
King
always bad
Benji's
guys.
son?
No, he's King Noah's
He's
son.
King Noah's son.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we're in the King Noah storyline.
Got it.
So they, because of their strategy and because of King Limhi, they're able to win this battle. And they're going around and they're looking at all the dead people, and guess who they find? The Lamanite king.
Whoa!
But he's not dead. He's still alive. So they take him and they bandage him up and they take him in front of King Limhi. And then King Limhi and the Lamanite king, they talk and they compare notes finally. They try communicating and they're like, oh, oops, this is a misunderstanding. You didn't take the daughters, it was the wicked priests. All right.
That's what... Okay.
And
That's what they're talking about in the
Yeah.
middle of this war, is like, where are these women?
yeah. So King
This is the most anyone has cared about women in all of the movies.
So far, it would seem. So, King Limhi's like, dude, the fuck, we had an oath you weren't going to attack us and we were going to be your slaves. And the Lamanite King's like, I'm sorry. And then they're like, great, everything's forgiven.
All your people are dead, but
Except,
everything's forgiven.
now the Lamanites who are watching over the Nephite slave people, they're kind of bitter. Because their king, like, apologized and
They
embarrassed
just fought this
them.
whole war.
And so they just start taking it out on them. And they're not killing them, but they're like smacking them around and they're being really mean. And the Nephites are like, you know what? I've had enough of this shit. We beat them before. Let's do it again. So they're like, fuck it, let's go to battle. And they go to battle again. And this time they get their asses
Just
handed to
did
them.
This.
Yeah.
I bet we're going to do it a third time.
And so
if
they
there's
get their...
one thing I know about Mormon, we're going to do it a third time.
So they get their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them die.
1-to-1.
Whoops, maybe not a good idea. Meanwhile, back in the land of King Benjamin,
Okay.
being King Benjamin, I don't know if he's dead yet, but King Mosiah's the king. And he has this dude in his kingdom named Ammon, and Ammon's like an explorer. And the thing is that they all kind of wondered what happened to Zeniff because they stopped hearing back from those people. Zeniff was King Noah's dad.
Right.
So they stopped hearing updates. They're not getting any live tweets. So he's like, hey, Ammon, can you do me a solid favor? And Ammon's like, whatever you want, King Mosiah. And King Mosiah's like, can you go
See what's
take
going on.
some pals, go do an adventure, see if you can find out what happened to those guys. I'd
Yeah.
love a status report. Ammon's like, good deal. I got you. 10-4.
Going away.
Going off walkie.
Going off walkie.
So Ammon goes out. And back at where King Limhi's people live, they're kind of still looking for these priests. Because, like, where the fuck are these guys?
They still have our women.
They ruined everything. So Limhi himself is like, okay, guards, come with me. Let's just go settle it. Let's go find these dudes. And they walk out of the city into the wilderness and they find some dudes and they capture them and throw them in the prison. But it's not the wicked priest. It's Ammon and his bros.
Oh!
And so Ammon's like, hey, sorry, I think we're having a misunderstanding. And King Limhi's like, you know what, I learned about miscommunication before, so yes, let's have a dialogue before we kill each other. And Ammon's like, I'm from Zarahemla,
Yeah.
where King Mosiah lives. And King Limhi's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Zarahemla, it doesn't exist anymore.
What?
Because the Nephites in the land of Nephi, which is where King Limhi lives.
Yeah.
I know this is confusing. They had gone looking for the land of Zarahemla and they had sent a scouting party and they couldn't find it. Instead, they found a city that was totally in ruin. And it says that it was full of dry bones. As if there had been a great disaster and everybody had died. And they thought that was Zarahemla.
But they were just in the wrong place.
They were in the wrong place.
They Christopher Columbus themselves.
And so they called it the land of desolation. Mm-hmm. And while they were searching it, they find something really strange. There's a set of 24 gold plates.
What?
Yeah, from the dead people.
What?
And it's in a language no one understands.
It's in renovated Egyptian.
No.
Oh.
And
it's in English.
We're gonna put a.
It's in English.
We're gonna put a.
You have
big,
to tell me.
Sparkly pin in this.
Is it in English?
Because they bring the book back to King Limhi, and Limhi's like, I can't read. Like, no one can read this. What is this? I don't know. I'll just put it on the shelf, and we'll come back to it in another episode of the podcast.
You gotta tell me. It's
So,
gonna haunt me. It's
I know.
in
I'm
English.
sorry. So
Don't look at him. Look at me. Is it in English?
you're the captain now.
I am the captain.
I am the captain now.
So pin in that. We'll come back to it. And Ammon's like, you know what? That's a crazy story, but Zarahemla's doing good.
We're
Everybody's
cool.
alive, and I can take you there. And Limhi's like, that would be awesome. Problem is, we got all these like Lamanites. They're guarding your city. It's been a lot of drama.
They
It's too long to
suck.
talk about.
They left us on read receipts.
King Limhi's like, but here's what we'll do. We'll pray to God, and He'll help us out.
Yeah.
So they pray to God, and they make a plan.
Great.
First thing you gotta do is you tell everybody in the city, like, hey, guess what? God wants us
breaking
to
out.
be good and behave. So everybody repent, get good with God, and then He'll help us. And I was like, okay, fine, roll your eyes. So they do. And then there's this dude named Gideon. And Gideon's actually, like, he's this general, a Nephite general. Mm-hmm. He's one of the dudes who was actually trying to kill King Noah before, when King Noah ran away with his priests.
Okay.
So Gideon's still there. He's still doing his thing.
He's kicking it.
And
Bless you.
Thank you. And Gideon's like, hey, Limhi, just had a thought. I don't know. I've been sitting on it this whole time. Mm-hmm. Seems like an appropriate time to share. The guards who guard the back gate, they tend to get drunk at night. And King Limhi's like, oh, good to know.
Do they?
So King Limhi sends the guards to the back gate. Says, hey, you guards, you're real great guards. We love you guards. You're our favorite guards. Here's a bunch of wine. Go crazy. Celebrate yourselves. Live your truth.
Yeah.
And the guards are like,
Great deal.
done. We'll drink this wine. We'll make a podcast about it. So they get drunk and they like pass out.
Uh-huh.
And Ammon leads the Nephites, and they all gather all their things and their sheep and their precious items, and they make this big caravan, and they quietly sneak out of the city. I'm sure it took like 3 hours, but
Right.
whatever, it worked. God was probably helping.
Yeah.
They were all shit-faced.
Because the guards were shit-faced. The
Right.
Nephites wouldn't.
No.
No righteous person would ever imbibe.
No.
So they slip out of the night and they make their way back to Zarahemla, where they join King Mosiah's people.
Whoa.
So here we are. Boom. The two separate stories are now coming back together.
Okay.
Under King Mosiah, who we met back when we built that tent.
Yes.
In episode 9.
Wow. We've come a long way.
And the Lamanites, obviously, eventually someone goes, oh, I think everybody's gone. And they're like, we gotta go get him. And they gather all their armies and they go and they chase after them. And after 2 days, they lose the trail and turn back.
Because God is on their side.
And so that's how King Limhi's people escaped with the help of Ammon.
Uh-huh.
And the Nephites all rejoined under King Mosiah.
Is that the story?
That's the story for today. And we'll pick up next time we talk about the Book of Mormon.
Every other story we've ever talked about from the Book of Mormon has ended up so bloody. And, like, people get their heads chopped off. Like, this was very... Nobody got hurt.
I mean,
What?
they had multiple battles.
Multiple battles. They found the Lamanite king not dead.
Nobody important got hurt.
Nobody with a name got hurt.
Yeah.
So the 3 men in this story...
Except
didn't
for
get
those
hurt.
women that got,
They didn't have
Yeah,
names.
what happened to them?
Oh, yeah, wait, they're never...
haven't
Yeah,
resolved
wait,
that
wait,
at all.
guys. What happened
They didn't
to
have
the
names.
women?
No one ever says what happened to them.
Oh
It's awful.
If you read the Book of Mormon, it doesn't. It just
It's
like
true.
doesn't pick
It's
up on
a
it.
plot line that just
They're
gets
like,
dropped
and they picked
off.
them up. And they were
I bet they married the wicked priests by force and had children and stuff. We'll see if they come back in the story. I can't remember now.
Whenever I imagine the wicked priests, I imagine them like cartoon with like really angry eyebrows. They're just like, I don't know,
Yeah, that's what they do.
in like traditional priest garb.
Lauren, did I ever tell you that there's cartoons of all these stories?
Wait, what?
No.
One of these days, maybe it'll be a Patreon thing, maybe it'll be a special episode. I think we should drunk Mystery Science Theater some Mormon story cartoons.
Yes.
Some Book of
I'm
Mormon
in.
cartoons.
I'm invested.
Put a pin in that.
Put a pin in it.
Anyway, so that's this chapter. That's the chapter of the Book of Mormon we're talking about. It's actually like 4 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the best part of any Mormon lesson.
The activity! Yay!
So every episode we have an activity. And this week our activity is called King Me.
Okay.
So, as is very apparent, we've talked about a whole bunch of random different kings in the Book of Mormon in the past however many episodes. And it can be a little confusing.
Yeah.
So, for today's activity, I'm going to ask you some questions. And you are going to tell me which king I'm talking about.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Out of 4,
Okay.
King Benjamin, King Mosiah, the second, Benji's son, King Noah,
Yeah.
and King Limhi. Okay? So King Benji and his son
King
Mosiah,
Noah
and then King Noah and, his son Limhi.
Limhi.
Those are the 4 options.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
And we'll see if you can be faster than Josh or Grant.
Okay, but Josh
Well-
has to finish his drink first.
Alright.
And then, yeah, I'm throwing obstacles in the way.
And so, everybody pick your buzzer. What's your buzzer sound?
Eee.
That one was Josh. Grant?
Oh, Jesus.
It could be a word.
Me.
Okay,
Oh, that's a
great.
good one.
Okay. Number 1. Which Nephite king allowed his people to be enslaved by the Lamanite army? Josh.
King Noah.
False.
Sure, yeah, that's what I.
King,
Oh,
the one below Noah. King Lee. I already forgot his name.
Me.
Grant?
King Lehi?
No?
No, that wasn't a guy.
Oh.
King Lee.
Limhi.
Lemhi. Lemurs.
Limhi. King Limhi.
King Limhi.
King Limhi. King Limhi. We'll give that one to Lauren.
Yes.
Okay, question 2.
Yeah.
Which Nephite king said that you should help poor people and not ask whether they deserve it? Lauren.
Benji.
Yes!
Yeah! He was a good guy.
He was a pretty decent guy who also enforced obedience. 3. Which Nephite king took over for his father?
B.E. Mosiah.
That's one acceptable answer. Does anyone know the other one?
Wait, all of them. Literally all kings
Yes!
are sons of kings.
They all
Yes!
Good.
Ugh,
E, all of the above.
this
I'll do
brain is still working.
Okay, number 4.
Yeah.
Which Nephite king was murdered by his own people?
Noah.
Yes!
Guys,
Oh my god, you're on top of this.
this is the best I've done in an activity in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Which Nephite king freed his people from slavery?
Oh.
Me.
Grant?
Limhi?
Yes!
Ooh, good.
Point on the board.
The non-Mormons versus the Mormons. Sorry, guys, I let you down.
And our final question. Which Nephite king gave a famous speech before even Colin Firth was in that movie?
Boom! Benji.
Yes!
Yeah.
My man Benji.
The original King's speech.
Woo!
Uh.
Oh, I didn't get that joke.
What?
Anyway, that's our activity, and that's our lesson this week.
That was a great lesson.
Yeah, we kind of pounded through it, but
I really feel like...
it was a lot we had to get through. A
Yeah.
lot of twists in that story.
Yeah. Multiple timelines.
It's like a fucking season of Lost. Yeah, but they got off the island and they made it to Zarahemla.
AKA, they all died at the end.
I would love to thank Josh and Grant for joining us on our adventure today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And
it's
of
fun.
course, as always, Lauren, thank you.
No. Thank you.
And a very special thank you to our listeners.
And especially
our Patreon
subscribers. Thank you so much,
We
guys.
appreciate your support and putting your money where our mouth is. And
Oh, I like that. This is cute.
if we got something wrong, if you have any topics you want us to talk about or just want to drop us a line, we are at drunkmormonpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can slide into our DMs and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at drunkmormonpod. If you want to join our Patreon subscribers, hear your name toasted in an episode, and even possibly receive special gifts, you can find us at patreon.com/drunkmormonpodcast. Also, we're really excited to get some more reviews, but we can always use more.
Yes.
Yeah, and share the podcast with a friend, a neighbor, a significant other.
Or just somebody you don't even like.
Mm-hmm.
A stranger on the bus.
But until next week, I'm David John Banks.
I'm Lauren Sackwich.
I'm Josh Kohler.
I'm Grant Taylor.
And now we bid unto all
Farewell.